What's up, YouTube? I'm back again with another video, and as you guys can see, it's gonna be a Yu-Gi-Oh video. First things first, I'm sorry for not uploading for about a year. I've been pretty lazy, taking a break from card games, just focusing on life, I guess. But as of recently, I've been keeping up with this game. Like keeping learning the meta. Seeing what's popping. And yeah, I've been updating my decks with whatever cards I have. I've actually ordered a couple cards just recently, so I'm for sure trying to get back in the roll of things. I'm gonna be playing Yu-Gi-Oh for right now. Later down the line, I'll hop back into Dragon Ball. Because from what I see, Dragon Ball is becoming another Yu-Gi-Oh where cards are actually worth money now. It's not as budget as before. So I want to right now on my budget, just trying to stick to one game, and yeah. Yeah, for sure. Sticking with Yu-Gi-Oh, I've it's like re-sparked my interest in the game. Just playing it brings back memories. It's a lot more fun for me right now. So yeah, as you guys can see, it's gonna be my Prank Kids deck. I've promised this legit for more than a year because my last Yu-Gi-Oh video was legit a year ago from my Burning Abyss deck that I took to YC Chicago. In that video, I talked about how I wanted to play Prankets for the event, but I couldn't because the cards didn't come in on time due to the cold wave in the area. But as you guys can see, I have the full deck. I've been playing it since since I've gotten all the cards. Even though I haven't been really playing in competitively, I've still been keeping up with the deck, keeping up with different attacks and different variants. I actually went to my locals for the first time in forever. I think 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half ago. Can't remember for sure. I actually got fourth place. Yeah, I was surprised I didn't get last place or whatever, but I got fourth. The deck does what it does. Still pretty good, because even in my locals there was a Prinkins who got second place. I think first place was either Altergeist or Heroes. I don't even know what it was, but for sure second place was Prinkins. Um, I as a duelist have to get better for sure. Coming back into the game, I've gotten pretty greedy with how I play, and pretty reckless. So I gotta get better at that. But this is the list I've been testing and I feel comfortable with. So let's get started. Sorry for that 2-minute intro, but yeah. So starting off, you need to play 3 of each Prank Kids. So 3 Roxys, 3 Lampsies, 3 Dropsies, and 3 Fansies. You have to play 3 of each because you want to be able to see 2 names and a fusion spell in your hand, like turn 1, so you can do your full combo. Or at least see a variation of a Prankid's name and a certain extender, like instant fusion or Prankid's the continuous spell plan, I believe it is. Let's see real quick. Pranks, my bad. So Prankets, Pranks, Instant Fusion, or Reasoning, or 1-for-1. A way you could extend play into a link and then do your fusion stuff. You want to see a variation of that. So 3 of each helps with that, Sadly, with playing 3 of each, you do have certain hands where you draw a bunch of monsters and you're kind of screwed. But what deck doesn't break, And then the last monsters I play are 3 Ash Blossom. Ignore the ugly one in the middle. But I decided to go with 3 Ash. I was actually playing 2 Ash in a Veiler, but since I had access to the 3rd Ash, I went with it. I decided to play the 3 Ash in the main because I don't have drone lockbirds right now. But in the future, when I do get them, I'll probably just side them because I feel like Ash Blossom is overall really good, being able to hit multiple decks and multiple cards. And then sometimes the 1 Ash saves you, So 3 Ash. And then for the spells, I play 3 plays. I was playing 2 for the longest, but I actually cut Pot of Desires out of my deck because I wanted this deck to do better in the grind game, which is known to be good in. Desires kills your grind game because it hits your resources. So I decided to cut the Pot of the Desires and put it in the 3rd place, and then I forgot what else. But I decided to go with more consistent stuff. And then play 3 Pandemonium. You gotta play the 3 of this unless you're playing a different version of Prank Kids, or you're playing the Invoked version, or you're playing the Hero version. but pure for sure gotta play 3. And then I play 2 pranks. I've seen decks play 3 of this, but I feel 2 is fine because it's most of the time like the first effect is what you really use it for, like to help extend. But that you don't really need that sometimes, especially if you open up instant fusion. It's pretty much the same thing realistically. And then the second effect is like I guess the best effect, where you shuffle your resources back. So yeah, that's pretty much what I use it for, just the second effect. But the first effect does come in handy sometimes, but I prefer instant fusion. And speaking of instant fusion, I play 3 of it. So instant fusion is really good. It gets your rocket ride out, and you could actually do rocket ride's effect to tribute itself to revive your prank kids. So it's really good. And then 2 invocation. High key, I'm tempted to selling these because they're like 40s, but I need them for the deck, so I'm gonna just stick out with them. But yeah, you play invocation to just have further fusion spells to go off. You don't like. I understand if this is too much for you right now. If you try making this deck, you could for sure. You don't have to play this. You could just play other options to search for polymerization, and you'd be fine. And then playing the 3 polymerization because it's the generic fusion spell. And then play 1 fusion recycling plant. This card's really good. I actually added this not too long ago, and I love it. Being able to search the polymerization and also just recycle fusion material back to your hands is really good. The 1/1 for 1, and then the 1 reasoning. These 2 have like the same purpose, and it's just to get a new name on the field for like a Prinkin's name. Even though I play Ash Blossom and a reasoning, I've only hit the hand trap once, and so I feel like the reasoning in the deck is still fine. Still a really good card. It's legit a free card. If your opponent doesn't, it's like an Ash bait. If your hand's loaded, you could just bait them out with this. They might be like, oh, he's playing Inferno, let me hit it. But yeah, reasoning's still really good. And my last 2 windows is 1 terraforming and 1 upstart. This searches out the recycling plant or for place, and upstart just to make the deck a 39 card deck. And then the last 3 spells I play are 3 Call by the Grave. I want to make sure that my plays resolve when I need them to. Let's say like my hand's really fragile, like I have to use one of the extenders, and then I have the call by. It makes me feel more at peace, quote unquote, but I could play without interruptions. And if anything, you don't use this to protect yourself. You could just use it as a trap on your opponent's turn, which I actually do quite a bit. And the last card in the deck is 1 Pranket's Plan. I used to actually play 2, but I cut it down just so I don't draw it. This card is terrible to draw unless you face like a back row deck, and then you're able to make Rip, Roar, Roaster on their turn. But that's it. Drawing this is pretty bad. That's for my main deck. It's a 40 card main deck. Now for my extra deck. So I got my 2 tokens, 1 for Nibiru and 1 for pranks. So I play a Totally Awesome and a Dweller for the XYZs. You depending on the matchup, you make whichever you need. So if like if your opponent's deck doesn't rely on graveyard stuff, you make Toad. Or if you know they do, you make the Dweller. And then 3 of the main fusion, which is Rocket Ride. This is the one I have. This is the main one I go for when I use instant fusion, so that's why I gotta max out on it. And overall, it's just the best one. Then I played 2 Weather Washer. This is the second best fusion. Being able to just on your opponent's turn tag out, revive Doodle Doodle Doo or like Bow Wow and like another Prankin's name that's not a fusion, and you can just keep going from there. And also the targets you bring back can't be destroyed by battle, so it's really good. And then I guess the boss monster fusion, is Battle Bowler. This card's really good. Wouldn't say that it's the best because these other 2 is what gets your deck going. But overall, this is still really good, being able to just wreck your opponent's board on their turn. Against certain decks, is an auto win because you just stop their whole game plan. But yeah. And then starting off with the links, I play 1 Nightmare Phoenix. I was planning on cutting this because I actually ordered a Borosword Savage or Borosword Dragon, and then it's coming in the mail. I was planning on cutting this and putting the Borosword, but I decided to I'm gonna be cutting one of the Bow Wow Barks, because Nightmare Phoenix does come up from time to time. Bow Wow Bark does too, but realistically, Bow Wow and Savage Dragon or Sword Dragon, my bad, are the same thing. They're both mental OTK in my eyes. So I'm gonna just cut this down to 1 and put the Boros Sword in. And then I play 2 Doodle Doo. This is, I guess, the main link you go into. Like, depending on the scenario, you first go into Doodle Doo, then Rocket Ride, or you go Rocket Ride, then into Doodle Doo, depending on what your hand is. And I play the 1 Boar Load. Another option I was thinking was switching Boar Load for Boar Sword, but certain scenarios I feel like you need one or the other, so I'm gonna keep both. And then the boss monster link is Rip Roaring Roaster. I've seen some people cut this down because they don't like they don't really make it, but I still feel it's really good. Like, let's say, I'm only playing the 1 plan, right? But even then, if I do draw it, or if I do face a back row deck, I could, search it, realistically. So that's why I like the Rip Roaring Roaster. So that's my extra deck. Now for my side deck, I play 3 Nibiru. So I play 3 Nibiru just because this deck has a tough time going second, especially against decks that make, big boards. Or just make, not necessarily big boards, but a good setup field. So just this helps, clear my opponent's board and lets me go off, So overall, really good. And then I play 2 Gamma Seal. Just helps, that same idea of going second and clearing my opponent's board. And doesn't necessarily have to be a clear board, but also get around certain cards. Like Winda hurts this deck insanely, so just, Gamma Seal the Winda and go off. And also against Trap Tricks, even though that's a rogue matchup, if you Gamma Seal their Link, it hurts because they don't get their extra advantage when they activate the Trap Hole cards. And then that's it for the monsters I side deck. For the spells, I side deck Triple Forbidden Chalice. At the locals I went to, or before I continue, for my locals, I actually had a different side deck, but I changed it slightly, and Chalice is one of them. I bumped this up to 3 from 2. So the idea for Chalice is just to, negate a monster effect and continue playing. So the main idea was Winda, but also it could stop Appaloosa as well. And then I side Triple Twin Twisters. Ignore the commons. My foils are in my Shadal deck, which I will show you guys later. Don't worry. Yeah, Triple Twin Twister just for back row decks. This deck does have kind of an issue discarding cards, but if you need to, you got to, man. You can discard one random card, blow up their back row, and just start playing. And then I side 1 red reboot. This deck can OTK, so I like the red reboot, just being able to red reboot and proceed to just game them. And also, like, let's say you don't game them the turn you do this, you gain life points. So it's even though you pay half your life points, the fact you gain your life points, slowly back, you can just hop back into the game. So this doesn't really hurt you. And then the last 3 cards I'm playing, they're filler cards right now, but it's practically the same idea. 3 Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. This is for the Shadal matchup for when I go first. This shuts down most of the main deck. It doesn't stop Wendy, Ariel, or if they play the light target. I forgot his name, the weird looking one. But Ariel and Wendy aren't touched by this, but like the rest of the Shadal lineup is. So this just stops them from activating their effects. So literally, if they open up, if they only have access to a Squamata at first, like it shuts them down. But the card I do want to replace Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is this, Royal Command. I actually ordered more of these because this one's really damaged and it's like practically unplayable. I had to like glue it back together with a glue stick for the foil part, but so I just have this chilling. But if you guys remember from the original Shadal format, people were playing this. And I don't know why people aren't playing this right now. It's still ruled the same, where that it stops the Shadal effects. I ordered 12 copies because they're practically like 30 cents each. So, but yeah, for sure, when I get them in the mail, I'm switching out the Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors for Royal Command. So that's it for my actual deck, guys. Hope you enjoyed. The main deck for me right now, I feel it's like I really like it. The only thing is I might try putting a second plan back in, but I don't know. But for right now, the main deck I really like. Pretty consistent. There's the times where you brick, but it happens. But yeah, so if you guys want to tune out, it's up to you guys. but I want to go over certain cards that you could actually play in the deck or different variations you can make with this deck. So, as I mentioned earlier, you could actually play a hero version with this deck. So this is like all the cards you kind of would use. And then this is like a little tech card I just show you right now. But yeah, so like, you know, you play Vion. So your starter would be the Vion, right? You Vion, send Shadow Mist to grave. You don't do the effect of search. You do Vion effect to banish it, and then you search a polymerization from the deck. So you search out poly, and then you try doing your Prankets combo, right? And then with 2 Lampsies, you make Levier, right? The Levier would bring back Shadow Mist. You search out Mass Change, and on your opponent's turn, you make the Dark Law. So that's like the little gist of that hero version. There's another hero version you could play where you play Blazeman and Prisma, or not Prisma. Yeah, I think it is Prisma, in your main deck, and then Blazeman searches out Plali, and then Prisma just helps replace names for like Battle Bowler or whatnot or whatever you need. And then the tech card I was thinking about that you could play is Dark Bribe. So if you remember from Control, like Dark Law Control, whatever, these 2 cards work really well together. So like, let's say you face against a deck that has Lightning Storm, whatever. They Lightning Storm you Dark Bribe, they draw a card, you negate it, and the Dark Law triggers. So it's a free like trigger pretty much, or free negate because you hit a card out of their hand. So yeah, so that's for the hero engine I wanted to show you guys. And then another card you could play for sure is Pot of Desires. Like I said, I cut mine out of the deck. Desires was a hit or miss for me. Like either I hit multiple Prankeds names, or that I hit a lot of like the supporting cards. Like I hit like one time I hit my 3 Pandemonium, and I was like, what the hell. But yeah, you could play the Pot of Desires, but for now I'm not gonna be playing it. And then I want to show you guys possible side deck options with the deck. So, Lancia, DD Crow, Danko, Pankratops, Vanity's Fiend. This is more of like a techie option, I guess. Cosmic Cyclone, another techie option, which is And the Band Played On, Royal Decree, Skill Drain, and Solemn Judgment. So this is other possible things you could use. So Lancia, if your opponent plays a deck that banishes a lot, you could use this. If your opponent has stuff that relies on grave targeting, like to revive stuff, DD Crow's good. A lot of back row, Danko. The same thing with Royal Decree. Royal Decree is if you go first, you set this. Let's say you're facing like Altergeist or whatever. They summon out one of their monsters. They set a bunch of background pass. At their end phase, you flip this up, and it's like, oh, I get the game you now. What else? So yeah, Danko's if you go second. Pankratops, it helps break boards. It's good against backrow decks, but also just like dwindle down your opponent's board that they made, And then Vanity's Fiend. A couple months ago, there was a Prankeds deck that I believe got first place in Spain, and he was actually citing 3 of this. And this was when Orcus was still a thing. You'd like not normal summon, you'd have an extra Pranked somewhere, then you make this, and then like on top of having your board, they just can't do anything. Cosmic Cyclone, if you want to not play Twin Twisters, and the Band Played On is just another option to lock your opponent out from summoning at the same levels. So this is actually really good with Solomon Great, because it stops you from summoning the same levels and same ranks, so they can't make a rank 3 or anything. So it's really good. I already talked about Royal Decree. Skill Drain, the deck actually used to play this in the main deck as a 1-of. But then I actually took it out because I didn't really see it in much use. It's still a really good card, but I don't really see the need in playing it right now. And then Solemn Judgment, just if you want to have more negates. But yeah, so that's the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the little ending I did where I showed you other cards you could play. The last time I felt like I did that was when I was showing you guys how to side deck with like Metaful Pepe that I used to run. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video, which will most likely be the Shadal deck. See you guys.